Welcome to the Half in the Bag Disc Golf Podcast, streaming to you as part of the Joe's Disc Golf Podcast Network. And here are your hosts, Ben, Joe, and RJ.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Half in the Bag Disc Golf Podcast. As always, my name is RJ, and I am coming to you from Northeast Indiana. And today, I had a very long day at work, and I just finished up dinner, so I'm having some dessert with a nice Yingling Hershey's Porter.
Okay, I'm curious. I'm gonna need you to walk me through this. Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's real good. I bought a 6-pack because I was super skeptical. And then I want to say on an earlier episode, Ben had one, and I'm like, ooh, if I find some, I should pick some up. And sure enough, I happened to go to the liquor store that weekend, and they had like a 12-pack or a 20-pack or something like that on sale. And so I'm like, oh, all right, I'll go ahead and pick up some more. And actually, my father-in-law, who he likes the Bud Lights, the Coors Lights, the Mick Ultras, kind of your standard beers. He doesn't really stray out of that comfort zone too much. He tried one.
Water.
Right. Yeah. Your beginner beers, kind of. The ones that you drink if you enjoy beer, but you don't want to go and be super adventurous.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What we all started drinking when we started drinking beer. Probably?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll share that in a second. But please continue.
But yeah, so he had some. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then my brother-in-law came, and he saw it, and he was like, oh, how is that? My wife and I both told him, oh, well, your dad likes it. And he looked at me like we had just told him that we had 3 heads. He couldn't believe it. So it's real good. It's very chocolatey though. So if you're not,
it sounds like a good dessert beer. I mean, it's a porter, so it's gonna be a little thicker anyway.
Oh yeah. That was you started on then, or since you did not start on the standard ones?
So in terms of my starting, I got to travel to Germany, specifically to Lübeck near the North Sea, and I was 17 at the time, which for the Germans, the law had not changed yet. So at 17, I could buy whatever booze I wanted. So my host student and his cousin were like, oh, we're gonna start you on what we drink. And it's a beer called bitter beer, and it's literally just bitter beer. It's essentially an IPA, but a very German version of it. And oh man, I was just like, hey, this is pretty good. And so
maybe that's how you start enjoying IPAs, is you just don't have anything else beforehand. I still cannot do IPAs.
It's my sense of smell has been messed up well before everyone was concerned about whether or not you could smell things, because I've had bad allergies since I was a kid. So it's one of those things where my sense of smell and taste are a little weird. So pretty much if it's not an IPA, or a porter, like a really different style of beer, I'm like
something on the ends of the spectrum.
I'm just like, oh, it tastes like beer. I like to have some flavor with my beer, so I mostly drink IPAs because I'm like, yes, this one tastes like pine trees, and this one tastes like normal trees. Oh, this one tastes like flowers.
Yes. Now that we've already got off on a tangent, yes, joining me today is a wonderful co-host that apparently likes IPAs.
Here.
Is that what you're drinking today, though?
It is not. No, it has been a very long day, and I've got a wedding to go to, so I'm kind of keeping it, mostly water until I get to the wedding, so that way I hopefully don't wind up regretting too many delicious beer choices. But tonight my toddler was in true form, so I've decided to make some decaffeinated coffee and enjoy a little warm beverage.
Yeah. Yep. And For those that didn't catch your name.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm Ian, by the way. I'm still getting used to this whole recurring host thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's not streaming on Twitch. But I hail from the Chicagoland area, and oh goodness, I just had a complete brain disconnect from like what I was gonna say.
Oh man, it's that type of day.
It is. Good luck, business daddy, with all the editing you're going to be doing in this episode.
Yes. Oh man. Well, so speaking of business stuff, great transition there.
You're
We'll
welcome.
have to have Joe go in and clean it up. Again, Joe not here this week. Unfortunately, life gets in the way. But he is not here with us again this week, as you'll notice. For better or for worse.
True,
Go ahead,
and
I'll let you be the truth.
for everyone who is a regular here, it is nothing bad. Well, I mean, it's not great, but he and his family are okay. There's nothing crazy serious going on. But yeah, sorry, you got to put up with us two bums for one more week.
Yeah, the inmates are running the asylum again.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think it might have been on your first podcast or one of your first ones that I mentioned that I was going to order a new disc golfing polo. Well, today it came in the mail today, and this nice little mailer. Green, it's recycled. It's 100% recycled mailer.
Ooh.
Yes, but so I got from Circle One Disc, which is the company that makes this, a nice, pretty new polo. And as you can tell, I have never done an unboxing before because I don't know how to do this. Ooh, that is actually very, very comfortable. It's not necessarily a polo. It's kind of just mostly a dry fit button down. It's really comfortable. I am going to really enjoy wearing this.
Ooh.
I'm going to have to get the tags off if I want to wear it today, but I think I can get the tags off of it actually. So
I was gonna say hold it a little closer to the camera so that way we can make out the sweet raptors.
Yes. So the big draw for this one for me is the awesome design. That is, I don't know how well it's coming through on the camera. Oh, I think it's coming through pretty good there. As you can see, it's dinosaur print. You've got your standard T-Rexes, Brontosauruses, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and of course the good old Velociraptor. Can't forget about that guy.
Nope.
Looks like you got some pterodactyls on there. Nice little pattern, fun little pattern for disking. Well, for anything, but especially for disking.
I mean, I approve. My favorite dinosaur is in my favorite color. Got a green Stegosaurus. I'm all about that.
Yeah, it's very nice. Looks like the colors might change a little bit. No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Hard to tell exactly. I haven't given enough look at this. Like I said, I just unbagged it. And yeah, so I'm going to take off my headset for a second so I can wear this because it feels super comfortable. And I'm actually very excited about going disking in this now. I'm gonna have to wear it to my first tournament this year. Ooh. I don't know. I think we put in the group chat that Joe and I signed up for our first tournaments. Well, not our first tournaments, but we signed up for a tournament this summer.
I knew that you had signed up for one. I didn't know if it was your first or not for the year.
Well,
I should say.
Well, yeah, let me get this on, and then I'll go ahead and continue my thought.
Now we're gonna do a little singing as RJ gets into his shirt. Ba-doo doo doo, ba-doodly doo, ba-doo doo 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 doodly doo, ba-doo, ba-doodly doo 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 doo, ba-doo doo doo doo, bow ba-dow, sha-da-da-da-da-da-da-ba-da-bow. An excellent reverse strip tease, looking very dapper.
Yes, it's very comfortable. It's almost like a this probably means nothing to, or this might mean nothing to you, but it almost feels like almost like a scrub top almost.
Oh, Interesting.
Yeah, it's comfy. It's very nice. I'm gonna really enjoy wearing this summer. I signed up for my first tournament of the summer in the winter. It was at the end of January. I played in a tournament. Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
And in I think it was March, my wife and I. She's giving me a nod, like yes, that's what it was. We played in a putter partner tournament that we had a lot of fun in.
I vaguely remember you and Joe talking about it, but we didn't get into like any specifics.
Yeah. So it's signed up for my first summer tournament this year. Ooh. And really looking forward to wearing this for that, because I think it'll be a really nice shirt to wear for it, honestly.
I've actually only ever played in one tournament. It was when I was visiting you guys. Well, for Joe's not his bachelor party, just visiting, I think.
Yeah.
It was a oh goodness, it was basically you show up, buy 2 discs, and that's what you play the tournament with.
Oh, like a 2-disc challenge.
Yeah, just a 2-disc challenge. And that's
was that maybe when I got my first discs? I feel like it might have been you, me, Ben, and Joe.
Yeah, because
I feel like this might have been a thing.
Because Caitlin and Kayla were not Kayla. Oh goodness! Why am I blanking on her name? Ben's wife.
Kayla. Yeah.
Okay, I was right. I'm like.
Yeah.
Thank
if
God.
It's the tournament I'm thinking of, goodness. Caitlin. I don't even know that Joe and Caitlin had met yet, but
or they had just met.
That might be.
It was like new enough that it wasn't like, oh yeah, gonna be coming out here for a bachelor party soon.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, no, it was just the 4 of us dudes. I can't remember why Kayla couldn't make it, but she didn't come out for that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed playing that tournament, being the only one that I've ever actually run it.
Was that at Sweeney, maybe?
I believe so.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because
that might be the first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that might have been like the first tournament that I played in too.
Nice.
If it's the one I'm thinking of. So.
Yeah, I wound up picking up my Westside Discs King and a dynamic discs, just like little putter. I forget exactly what it's called because it didn't have any markings on it.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So as I said, this came from Circle One disc. Circle One. Yeah, Circle One disc. I wanted to make sure that it was disc and not discs, because of course everything has to be singular or plural or whatever. But if you want to pick up some awesome merch, how can they do that, Ian?
Well, they can go to, I forget the URL, but to Business Daddy's website, joesdiscgolf.com/merch. Yes?
Shop, I think. Because I always want to say it's merch, but I'm almost certain it's shop.
That's right, it is shop. joesdiscgolf.com/shop. That's shop. Not store, not merch. Shop.
Yep.
I really need to actually get some of his stuff because I keep writing him ads to advertise his stuff. I still haven't actually bought anything yet because I'm a bad friend. So you should all not be bad friends. Go support Joe.
It doesn't seem like his stuff's that great if the advertiser hasn't gotten any of it, but I do have some. I have a hat and I have a t-shirt, and then they're awesome, and I really enjoy wearing them. But
to be fair, all of the ad reads that I've written have been for at least 3 people, and we keep not having 3 people.
That is true. That does make it a little bit more difficult.
Yep.
Just a smidge, though. Just a smidge.
But we'll
yes,
we'll meander away from the intro as we've now been on it for a while.
Yeah, as we've been on it for about 15 minutes. So hey, we've got that going for us.
It's the small talk portion.
Yeah. So let's I know that when Ben, Joe, and I first started this podcast, we kind of went through and talked a little bit about ourselves, what our experience with disking was. And I don't think we ever actually did that with you. So I think it would probably be good to give the listeners a little bit of background on you. So if you don't mind, I being the journalist that I am now,
Ooh.
I almost said that one with a straight face. I've come up with a couple different questions, and I was hoping that maybe we could get some insight into you and your disc golfing experience.
Absolutely, fire away.
So I think the biggest question is, how did you actually get started disking?
So it was in my I want to say sophomore or junior year of high school, probably closer to junior year, since at that point a variety of friends and I had just obtained driver's licenses so we could start driving around town. We were at that point where you're like, I'm not making enough money in my summer jobs or the after school or part-time job that you have where you're like, yeah, let's go to the movies all the time, or let's go do this or that, because you just don't have that kind of money. So my buddy Mike was like, hey, have you guys heard of frolf'n? And I was like, I did that like in Scouts like a million years ago. I was like, yeah, you just take a frisbee and you throw it. He's like, no, dude, frolf'n, there's way more to it. And I was like, bullshit. So he had picked up 3 Innova discs from I want to say Dick's Sporting Goods, and at that point he gave me and our other buddy Tim one of his discs, and we went to the park that Joe and I have talked about before, Castaldo, here in Woodridge, and the rest is history. So that was about circa 2005, 2006. Just playing because we're like, hey, this is a free activity. So we got started in Castaldo, then O'Brien Park in Downers Grove, and then Catherine Legg in Hinsdale became the 3 courses that we primarily went to, as they were just the closest ones, and why spend more gas than needed?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you get into it, well, especially now with gas prices.
Oh, well, we're not. We're gonna veer away from that hot take.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So you kind of answered it. You've been going for now about 15 years or so. Is that a fair?
Yeah, in varying levels of how often I get out. Unfortunately, in terms of having a toddler, it just has decreased significantly. Even though I actually live closer to the disc golf course, the Castaldo, than I ever have before. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, I need the time to do that.
Yes. Taking the toddler along might not be the easiest thing to do.
Nah, but he's learning. He'll get there.
Good. So I think we talked about this a little bit, but when we started, we kind of gave our tournament experience, kind of what levels we played at. Sounds like you have the 1 tournament under your belt.
Yep, just that one challenge. I had thought about, because they do host tournaments at Castaldo and the other parks around here. I have thought about getting out and doing some of the tournaments, but at this point, I've been primarily focused on needing to get back out and practice much more regularly, because when I do get a couple of rounds in, like, the muscle memory starts to return, but I don't really want to go and play a tournament without, having at least practice for like a month or so fairly regularly, and by fairly I mean maybe 2 nights, 3 nights a week at least. Yeah, because again, the courses around here would not be considered pro level courses. They're truly just amateur fun, and that's what most of the tournaments around here are. It's like, hey, let's support either the club or support a charity, local charity. Everyone get in. It's a small pot. There isn't really winnings. You mostly walk away with like, hey, have a free disc or t-shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
So just casual for the most part. Getting into more of the intermediate stuff. I mean, I can play intermediate courses, but I really need to work on a lot of my techniques just so that way I can get better releases, because I know the mechanics that I'm supposed to be doing, but, I'm not getting the distance that I should be getting with the discs that I'm throwing, but that's practice.
Yeah. So is there any specific thing right now that you're trying to work on, or is it just, getting out and practicing more, or is there some specific part of your game that you're working on?
No, well, okay. So if we're being honest, the specific parts I would be working on would be primarily increasing the accuracy and distance of my drives, and solidifying putting in what would essentially be circle 2. Because anything within that, like circle 1, for the most part, unless I'm like really frazzled, I should be sinking that. But once I get past that circle 1 edge, all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't remember how to putt anymore.
Yes.
I've been trying to look up like the power putt, because that is a technique that I had developed 2 left thumbs on, and I'm just like, okay, that didn't do anything. But the biggest thing is, especially after the motorcycle accident, which we did cover in my first episode here, the left leg, just getting the flow back, so that way I've got the 3 steps and release, and it's all one single motion, as opposed to kind of like a peg leg step when my left leg is trying to do things. It's like, I'm like, it throws me off a little bit. And, I know that's predominantly doing the correct stretches to make sure that I'm limber enough, so that way when I am throwing, nothing's seizing up as I'm going through it. But that's, also learning, how the leg is actually going to behave since the accident, because the accident's really where I started playing less, because I couldn't at first. And then I also went through a period of time where I was definitely a little depressed about the fact that my game was just awful. I went from being a pretty decent disc golfer to just crap, and I was like, why do I want to play a game, especially by myself, where I'm like, I'm just awful. I'm not doing anything. So it's taken a while to get back.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's definitely a tough place to be in. I think I've talked a little bit about, I took probably the better part of 2 years off because I was kind of in the same place where I'm like, I don't want to go play. So, I think that's a place that a lot of people can relate to, and being like, okay, I've started this new thing, but is it really what I want to continue to do? And, I think that hearing that from you and, my own experience, it seems like it's something where it's like, this is definitely something that it can be frustrating, but it's also a lot of fun and definitely worthwhile to stick with, that, or at least I think so. Well, maybe you have a slightly different opinion, but I think you're here, so.
Oh no, I absolutely agree that it is. They are hard today. And unfortunately, I'm stone cold sober.
Oh man, would you like some chocolate porter?
Just fax it to me. It'll be fine.
I'd have to find a fax machine first.
Oh, we'll get you one. Check's in the mail. Don't worry.
Oh man. Yeah, we
um,
need everyone to go out and buy 20 things from Joe's Disc
let's go.
Golf so that we can afford a fax machine.
So I can get my chocolate porter, because
Yes.
I have or I should say, my wife has one of the all-in-one printers, so it technically is a fax machine, but I would need a landline to be able to actually get the fax to begin with. So,
Oh man. I'm pretty sure because I work in a high school, so I'm pretty sure that there's a fax machine there somewhere.
oh yeah,
I would have to ask about 4 different people how it operates to try and get that thing figured out.
it's not
And
too hard. It's stupid, but it's not too hard.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just I say this, but I know that I faxed stuff before. I've had to fax stuff for work before, so I'm sure I could figure it out. It's just
Yeah,
who
when
uses a
when
fax
you're not in
machine
front
anymore?
of it, you're like, wait,
Yeah,
what do I do again?
yeah, it's like I press the button and anyway. So I
So
gotta ask. Go
so
ahead.
let me
Go
just,
ahead.
the last thought was, it is totally worth sticking. And for me, the thing that got me back to, oh, I do want to continue enjoying this hobby, is that I really enjoy just being outside, and it's a excellent way to spend some time outside. That's not too intense, and not too strenuous on your body. That you just enjoy some nice time outdoors.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I really enjoy the outdoor aspect. That's why I really love going to some of my local really wooded courses because I just feel like I'm taking a stroll through the woods. And I think that that's another reason why I don't. We talked last week about cell phones and ear pods and everything, and I think that that's a reason why I don't specifically use that. But getting back to learning a little bit more about you, so you mentioned that outdoor aspect. Is that your favorite part of the sport, or are there other parts that you would consider above that?
I mean, that's the foundation, but in terms of what really brings me to the sport is the challenge of figuring out the puzzle of the different holes. What disc you want to use, what kind of shot, what's going to make the most amount of sense given what techniques I know at that particular time. When I first started, it was more just the like, okay, how am I going to huck this piece of plastic far enough to get close enough to the basket that I actually can get a putt? And now it's become more of a like, okay, so in this wooded corridor, I might need to. Oh crap! I don't know if I can continue the podcast. Give me
Oh,
1 second. I need to go check out my toddler. He's making some very strange noises. I will
okay.
be right back. Sorry, everybody.
So while he goes and does that, I think I am going to really quickly go over kind of the results of the tournament from this past weekend, um, which, if you aren't sure, was the OTB Open. So let's talk a little bit about the FPO side. So on the FPO side, we had what looked like it might be the kind of the Paige Pierce show, and instead it kind of turned out to be a 2-horse race at the end, as Paige Pierce finished at 11 under, with Natalie Ryan kind of stalking in the shadows at 7 under. Juliana Korver finished third. Ella Hansen and Alexis Mondahano finished tied for fourth. Missy Gannon finishing in sixth. Scoggins was tied for seventh. Jen Allen also tied for seventh. And we had Katrina Allen and Holland Handley tied for ninth. Some bigger names that finished outside the top 10 would be Valerie Mondahano finishing in 12th, and Kona Panis finishing in 13th. Sarah Hokum finished 14th. Maria Oliva also finished in 14th, and Kat Murch finished tied for 18th. Haley King finished 23rd. And, I think that pretty much covers that. in all honesty, a fairly large field for the FPO side. And, they had about 47 people, it looks like, that were playing.
All right. Sorry, man. I'm gonna have to unfortunately cut everything. He might be having an asthma attack, so I need to get him into some steam. So,
Yes.
goodbye,
Yep.
everybody.
See ya.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. I just want to take a quick moment to let everyone know that everything's okay. The bean is doing just fine. It, fortunately, was not an asthma attack. The doctor will confirm in the morning. It is most likely just croup. I just wanted to take this brief moment to let everyone know, if the episode is released, that everything is okay. And the bean is wheezy, thanks to the respiratory virus. But okay. So hopefully we can have a slightly less eventful next episode. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, and I will catch you all later, along with my co-hosts Joe and RJ. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.